Yeah, okay. Hello everyone. And today in the 70, I want to continue again to practice speaking and reading in English. And now is the Sunday. And now I want to bringing the topic is about the interview question I couldn't answer. Good morning, Olivia. Olivia, morning, Can I ask you something? Sure. Have you ever had a technical interview that didn't go well? Of course, really, many times. Even after you had experience, especially when I was learning. What happened? Sometimes the interviewer asked questions I had never studied. How did you respond? I said I didn't know. You just said that? Yes. Didn't you feel embarrassed? A little. I think I would feel terrible. Why? Because I think the interviewer would believe I wasn't good enough. That's a common fear. Actually, I experienced something similar recently. What happened? The interviewer asked me technical questions. What was it about? Web security. And I couldn't answer properly. What did you say? I tried to explain what I knew. That's better than pretending. But I knew my answer wasn't very strong. How did you feel afterward? Disappointed. Why? Because I realized there were gaps in my knowledge. And what did you go after the interview? I started thinking about what I should learn. Good. But isn't it frustrating? What is? Studying something for months. Yeah. Then getting one question you can't answer. It can be frustrating. So how do you feel? So how do you deal with it? I changed the question. What do you mean? Instead of asking why couldn't I answer, what should I ask? Why don't I know this yet? Yet? Yes. That one word changed everything. Exactly. So, not knowing something isn't permanent, of course not. It just means I haven't learned it yet. Exactly. That's actually comforting. Good. Can I ask you another question? Go ahead. What should I do when I don't know an interview question? First, don't panic. Okay, take a moment to think, then explain what you do know. Even if I don't know the complete answer, yes. What if I only know part of it? Say that honestly. For example, imagine they ask you about SQL injection, okay, and you don't remember the technical detail. What should I say? You could say, I understand the SQL injection is a security vulnerability where an attacker can manipulate database queries through unsafe user input. I'm not fully confident about all the prevention technique yet. And I know prepare statement and parameters query are important. That sounds much better than saying I don't know exactly. Because I am showing what I understand, right? And I am also being honest about what I don't know. That's professional. What if the interview asks follow-up questions? Then answer as much as you can. And if I still don't know, say so. One that had my chance. Maybe that's scary. But pretending can hurt you more because they may realize I am pretending. Exactly. I think that's one of my biggest problem. What's that? I sometimes feel like I need to know everything before applying for a programming job. Do you think experience developer knowing everything? Probably not. Then why should you? I shouldn't. Exactly. So what should I focus on? Your fundamentals, such as programming logic, okay, understanding the framework you're using, Laravel exactly, database fundamentals, yes, HTTP and web fundamentals are very important, and security basic, exactly. What about memorizing interview answer? That one depends on memorizations. Why? Because interviewers are always predictable. They can ask something unexpected exactly. So understanding is more important, much more important. I think I just know. Tell me. An interview isn't only a test. What else is it? It's also a conversation. Good. They want to understand how I think exactly, not just what I memorize, right? But if I make a mistake while answering, correct yourself, even during the interview. Absolutely. For example, you can say, actually, let me correct that. I think the better explanation is that sounds natural. It shows that you can recognize and correct your own mistake. That's a useful skill. Very useful. Can I tell you what I learned from my last interview? This. I learned that I still have a lot to learn. And that's true for everyone. But I also learned something else. What? The interview saw me exactly where my weakness were. That's valuable information. So following an interview can actually help me if you learn from it. Yes, instead of thinking what I felt, try thinking I found something I need to improve. Exactly, one interview doesn't define my career. Correct. One unanswered question doesn't define my ability. Correct. One rejection doesn't mean I should stop. Exactly. It just gives me another lesson and another reason to keep learning. I think I'm going to prepare definitely next time. How? I'll study the fundamentals good. I'll practice explain concept in my own words is excellent. I will practice technique questions good, and when I don't know something, yes, I'll stay calm and be honest. That's a good plan. Can I ask one last question? Of course. What's the most important thing to remember before a technical interview? You don't need to know everything. Then what do I need? You need to show how you think, how I solve problem exactly, how I learn exactly, how I communicate exactly, and how I respond when I don't know something. Now you've got it. One question at a time. Yeah, one question at a time. One problem at a time. Of course, one problem at a time. One lesson at a time. Yeah, one lesson at a time. And then one interview at a time. Of course, one interview at a time. And thank you. Maybe my favorite sentence for today is I don't know this yet. The word yet is more important because the mean not I don't but I don't know yet from now. Okay, thank you for watching.